Is HBO Max the best streaming service right now for horror? Let's find out. Kicking it off, the first movie I'm going to mention that's on HBO Max right now is a classic, and for a lot of people, the greatest horror movie ever made, The Exorcist. And what time better now before Halloween when the new Exorcist comes out? We can relive those great moments with Reagan, the special effects, the cinematography, everything about it that made this movie so amazing back in the 70s. We got The Silence of the Lambs. Movie came out in the early 90s, cult classic, got Golden Globes, birthed Hannibal Lecter as we know him today. He was in other movies before that, but not as popular. We've got The Shining, which has transcended more than just horror with the whole "Here's Johnny." Just another great movie, one of Stanley Kubrick's best films he ever made, and he has a huge filmography. You've got the brand new It from 2017 that was very, very good and got, I think, the highest grossing horror movie of all time. You still got the 1990 miniseries It on there in case you wanted to go watch Tim Curry. Got Gremlins, a classic Christmas kind of horror movie that everybody loves. You also got Gremlins 2 if you haven't seen that one yet. You've got newer movies like *Malignant*, which to me was a lot of fun. It was like a superhero horror movie with a little bit of giallo in there. I loved it. I know it was controversial. Some people didn't, but it was a lot of fun. You got *Barbarian* from last year, which for a lot of people was their favorite horror movie of the year. You've got *The Menu*. *Antlers* just came out not that long ago, which was a nice Guillermo del Toro story. You've got *Last Night in Soho*. You've got *Hereditary*, which a lot of people thought was the scariest movie since *The Exorcist*. We've got some good body horror in there. You got the original *Fly*. You've got the remake of *The Fly* that came out in the 80s. You've got *The Fly 2*. We have *Tusk*, which was a weird movie, but I enjoyed that one quite a bit. You've got more of your comedy, satirical type horror in there. You've got *Cabin in the Woods*, which came out in 2013. Was a nice, fun play on everything you expect, but done in a more comical way. *Cooties*, which is kind of like a zombie-esque movie where the kids get cooties and the teachers have to fight them off, which was a lot of fun. Has the guy from The Office in it, Rainn Wilson. You've got *Beetlejuice*, which everybody knows Beetlejuice. It's a great classic, and we have a sequel to that coming out as well. Going on like a different kind of thing, you also have kind of the 2000s hits. You've got *Final Destination* in there, which sparked the whole *Final Destination* franchise that we've come to know and love for extreme deaths and gore and just being a lot of fun as well. You've got Final Destination said that. *The Faculty*, which is a very, very underrated early 2000s movie with Josh Hartnett in it. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend to go check that out. We also got *Deep Blue Sea*, which was a very, very fun shark movie. Probably the most fun shark movie I'd seen since *Jaws*. And then we get a bunch of little oddball ends in there. *Child's Play*. I mean, I love Chucky. Chucky is a cult classic. You can't beat that when it comes to a slasher. *Sinister*, which a lot of people consider to be another one of the scariest movies ever made. *Misery*. If you haven't seen *Misery*, that's Kathy Bates. She won an award for her acting in that movie. And that's one of those slow burn Stephen King movies. And it's probably one of his best adaptations besides the common It. You do get some other Stephen King movies too. You can get *Graveyard Shift*. You can watch *Thinner*. *Silver Bullet*, which is a very, very cheesy but fun werewolf movie with Gary Busey in it. *Green Room* came out a few years ago, which was another great movie. If you're really looking for comedy, *Club Dread* is in there, which is a nice, fun slasher comedy from the same guys who brought you *Super Troopers* and *Salmon Slammin' and *Beer Fest*. You also get a fun creature in there with The Predator. You got a couple of different Predator movies that you can watch. You also have The Witch, which was, I think, 2016. It's a period piece. It's one of those slow burns. It has kind of those shock endings. But for a lot of people, it was a very, very good movie. I thought it was okay. I don't do as well with the slow burns, but it was still a very good movie. You get Insidious 1 and 2 from James Wan, which are both pretty good movies. The second one gets a little bit too jump scares with the high-pitched sounds for me, but the first one was very, very good and proved you can make a PG-13 movie still decent. And I'll finish it off with, you get the superhero movie that's kind of horror-ish with Blade. So you get the original Blade, which sparked that whole trilogy. I think the first one is the best one. They did have 2 and 3 on there before, but they don't anymore. All right. So compared to other horror streaming services that are on there right now, it's hard for me to believe. I mean, I went through Netflix, and they have a lot of their same beats, but nothing great. And Tubi is another fun one, which I'll probably do a video on Tubi next, of all the great horror movies they have on there. But they had a lot of B-rate horror, but they do have some other great horror movies on Tubi as well. But Shudder is horror exclusive, and they have a lot of good movies. But right now, I'd say HBO Max is carrying the load because they have movies from the 70s, even earlier, all the way to today that are a lot of great hits. Some of the best horror movies we've seen come out in all the decades, and there's not many places you can go to go get that many good horror movies. But I would just say, if you don't have it, it's worth checking out. I named off roughly 30 movies that were all really, really good on there, and there were a lot more movies still, including the entire Godzilla series, which I'm not a big fan of the old Godzilla stuff, but if you like it, it's there. Comment down below if you think HBO Max is the best streaming service for horror right now in the month of April, and also comment what your favorite movie of all time is. Till the next one, guys, rest in peace.